All right, we are live today on the You vs. You show, and excited about everyone that actually is going to be watching this, and I know you're going to get a lot out of it. It is Wednesday. Gosh, what is the date today? May 13th, 2020. And hopefully anyone that is watching this is doing great. I know that across the country, across the world, we're still in the pandemic. Some states are opening up slowly but surely. Some countries are opening up slowly but surely, but we want to come to you today and every day that we do this You vs. You show to help you win. The biggest battle that you'll ever face is the battle within yourself. I just got done winning the battle today of you versus your health. I just got pumped up weightlifting here right before this show. Every day I strive to always try to win and do the best that I can with the You vs. You battle. But today we have an incredible guest and someone that I'm just considered a dear friend of mine. Balwinder from Canada, and you're going to hear a little bit about his background. But Balwinder is just an incredible human being in general, and we're working together on a massive project right now that we're getting featured in major publications across the world. He is our Chief Financial Officer, and he actually has been in business for himself ever since he was 17 years old. He owns a successful practice himself and has a beautiful family. And I'm just so excited for each and every one of you to really watch today, because we're going to talk about the subjects of fear, overcoming yourself, a lot of specific information that you're going to be able to receive and then take action on immediately. So it's something that you can actually learn from and then say, you know what, I can even rearrange the rest of my day. I can look at my week differently. I can look at my month differently. And that's what this show is all about, is helping every single one that plugs in, and even on the replay, to say, look, we're all in this together as far as the You vs. You battle. We might not be in all of it together in this COVID thing, because some people are doing great. Some people are not doing so well. But if you are winning the battle of You vs. You, then you'll always land on your feet and you'll always win. Okay, so Balwinder, thanks so much for being on the show. If you could just start off and kind of give us a little background and context of who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. True Canadian. Love my ice hockey. I've been playing ice hockey with a group of guys and a team for 13 years now together, but about 15 years in total. And been an entrepreneur all my life. Started at a very young age in high school and just went on. And, if I started listing all the things I've done, we'll be here till tomorrow. So currently have a beautiful wife and two beautiful kids, aged 8 and 4. And couldn't be happier with life. Feel incredible. And I can't say I felt 100% 2 months ago. So, it feels good to be where I am right now.
Yeah, so tell us about like where you were even 2 months ago when this happened to your practice, and like maybe your mindset, where it was then and where it is now, and what you've done in that process in the past 2 months during this time, this pandemic, even in your country in Canada.
Sure. So, a couple months ago, everything seemed somewhat normal. We didn't realize how crazy things were going to get. And all of a sudden, boom, it's like, okay, after, March 23rd, you can't practice anymore. Your clinic can't be open. Everything shuts down. And it raises, when you're an entrepreneur, it raises some panic and some fear. And it's like, oh man, if the clinic's not open and I'm not practicing, like nothing's happening. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do this? And how am I going to do that? And it was a pretty stressful time. But I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. And, prior to even COVID and things like that, I'll say things were great, but they were stagnant. If I could use a word, they were just, everything's going the same thing every day and the same results, same expectations. And all my life I wasn't really that type of a person. At some point, something happened where you'd start dropping off and you get into a routine. So I COVID hits, I get this blessing, and dear friend Spencer calls me and he says, hey, Balwinder, listen, I've started this coaching program, and like everything that you and I have ever talked about for as long as we've known each other, this is like totally fits. And I said, oh, really? Like, tell me more. So, at first I was a bit hesitant, but, after I realized myself, I'm like, even the best of the best, everyone has someone to guide them, to help them become a better version of themselves. So at that day on the 26th of March, when I spoke to you, and a day later, I said, hey, you know what, Todd, let's do this. I want to win the battle versus me. I want to conquer myself and take myself to the next level. And then, man, the last, since then, it's just been up, 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 and just every day has been amazing.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions for you. So you're a man, and I've never even told you this before, but my first impression of you, and after maybe a call or two as well, you're a man of intention. You're very intentional, and you take initiative. Like, you really take initiative, more than a lot of people I've ever seen in my life. And I remember having a conversation with you because you're very trustworthy. As soon as I got to know you a little bit, I could able just to express even my vision. And that's very tough sometimes when you have a massive vision and to immediately kind of bestow that on someone else that might run with it or steal it, or who knows, or might even tell you, oh, that's crazy. And because a lot of people, they hold their dreams to their chest and they're so afraid of sharing it. But I felt like you're a very trustworthy space. And then little did I know, I'm going to wake up the next day with an email of just graphs and numbers and what's possible, and with this vision. So have you always been kind of an intentional man, a person that kind of leads from the front before people ask him to do it?
I would say, yeah, definitely. I've always been a person who's wanted to achieve more. And I've always, I was very lucky to be taught at a young age to always think outside the box. And so I try to do that as often as I can, is think outside the box. Stepping outside of that box is a little bit harder, but when you've got the right people, and, thank you for all those beautiful things you said about me. I was lucky that I had some good guidance. I really talked to the right people, read the right things, and, focused my energy on the things that allowed me to expand my horizons. And, they say that you become most creative when you're up against a wall. And that's really what COVID did, is that it put me and a lot of other people up against the wall. It was like, okay, well, here I am. I'm at home. I'm not a guy to sit still. You can ask anyone I know; they'll tell you this guy does not sit still. So I was up against the wall, and I was like, I need to think of something. I need to do something. I need to go bigger. And going through this process, getting to know you, right away we were able to connect, and right away I felt, man, Todd is a great guy. Like, he's got the right things. He's got the right intentions. He wants to really help people. And I thought, we can do this. Like, I've always wanted to help people, and it's always been my dream to raise people and raise myself and become better. So that's when this big vision came to me, is that I was on one call with the entire group on a Zoom, and the energy I felt, and the positivity and all these people, and I was like, wow, these people are on a mission, and I want to be on that mission with them. And my mind went into overdrive. I didn't sleep that whole night much, like until like 4 a.m, and then I was up at 6:30 again, and just it was like I was super excited, just because there was the mission, there was a vision, and I had so much clarity that this is my calling. This is what I needed to be doing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think anyone that's watching this that might be down and out, because it's very easy. I mean, even you and me, we're positive guys. We have families, children, wives. Let's be honest. We both, maybe can catch ourselves being like, when is this ever going to be over, man? I mean, I just want to go to a damn restaurant. I want to go out to eat. I want to go on date night. Remember those days when we were able to go to the movies and, I mean, maybe go see a hockey game and not worry about anything like that. But at the same time, I got to say, the past 59 days, 60 days have been some of the greatest days of my life. I've waited my whole life for these moments where I can be creative, and we're going to talk about overcoming your obstacles. And a year ago, I didn't know you. You didn't know me. I didn't know Spencer. I didn't even know we're going to even start InsideOut Institute, let alone a whole vision, and just developing practitioners and developing leadership transformational coaches. But I was in a dark spot a year ago, and there was no COVID, but I was living in my own COVID, if you will. Dark obstacles are all around me, no lack of clarity. But here we are in the middle of COVID. And I believe that me, you, and a lot of our leadership team, even though the darkness might be around us, we don't even see it, because the light is shining so bright in our own lives that we're bigger and becoming even bigger and greater than all of our obstacles even combined. So what is your take on overcoming obstacles?
Well, honestly, to start off, I believe that we ourselves are our biggest obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things that I heard being here, and it stuck with me. It was so like, wow. And it was nothing but so much at the same time. But it was get out of your own way. And we're like the biggest people who get in our own ways. We're our own obstacles, and we don't even realize it. And what's so beautiful about Inside Out and the fact that we work with the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and energies and healing is that a lot of times it's the subconscious mind that's blocking you from consciously overcoming your challenges.
Yeah.
And so realizing this and learning all about this and having all these unconscious things in my mind cleared, these unconscious negative energies that were preventing me from consciously moving forward, it gave me so much clarity, and it allowed me to start overcoming myself. And the one of the biggest challenges is I had challenges I'd put on myself that I didn't even realize. I was comparing myself to other people. That was one of the first biggest things that I shouldn't have been doing ever. That I was looking at whether they were other friends, whether they were other business owners, other people in the community. I was looking at them and I'm like, man, I want to be like that. Yeah. Or, oh man, look at that car he got, and not realizing that everything I already have is amazing. I don't need to look at other people. I need to look at myself and make myself the better version. And it's not like I need to run a marathon tomorrow, but if I ran half a kilometer or half a mile today, you know what, tomorrow I might run 0.6, the day after 0.7. And as long as I'm improving myself, not comparing myself to anyone else, I'm going the right way. And that was my biggest challenge, was that I was defeating myself. I was making myself believe that I wasn't good enough by comparing to others. And I hadn't seen what those other people had put in or what they weren't putting in, and so it really allowed me to focus on, hey, who am I? What am I putting into myself? Well, how am I watering my own tree?
Absolutely. Ryan Holiday wrote a great book called The Obstacle is the Way. And, there's different types of obstacles. And let me give you an example. An obstacle of financial problems or challenges is a good obstacle. It's a great obstacle. But if you're constantly making money and spending money, constantly making money and spending money frivolously, well, it's not an obstacle anymore. It's a bad habit. So sometimes people confuse their bad habits with obstacles. So that's what really you're meaning when we are the problem. And if we get out of our own way and we understand that, through meditation, through self-awareness, that we don't have to keep making the same mistakes, but we're always going to have obstacles. Even if we're like never making mistakes, we're like living like monks, right? We're just meditating. We have so much stuff. Still, there's going to be obstacles because it's called life. So we got to get to that point where the authentic obstacles, the obstacles that are what life is all about, that is the way. Because when you overcome big obstacles, like run a marathon, like, do an Ironman, or, when you maybe gain some muscle, or you go from maybe out of shape to in shape, like that creates a massive amount of self-confidence. So the obstacle is the way, but we can't keep self-sabotaging ourselves on the same darn obstacle that we've always had. It's just a pivot and a switch that, obviously people need to know the difference. Okay. What about the fear though? So when there's an obstacle, and even if the obstacle is the way, it's the way to our truth. It's the way to kind of resurrection of our own self and how to transform our life. But there's always going to be fear. I mean, because we got to go up the mountain, and the mountain might be dark. It might be cold. It might be, you don't know what you're doing. So how do we also maybe, what's your take on, your own personal fears and how you just kind of move forward and stay committed to, overcoming the obstacle?
Absolutely. So, fear is an amazing thing. It's unreal because you cannot see it, you cannot hear it, you cannot feel it, you cannot touch it. There's nothing that's tangible about fear. So, I've heard and read a couple of things through my life, but one person put it to me as an acronym once, and they said false evidence appears real.
Yep.
And a lot of that false evidence is stuff that we've put into our own minds, or people have put into our minds. It's, it's stuff that we've created and we've allowed our subconscious mind to grow on, and it prevents us from doing so many things. And it's crazy because a dear friend of mine, Mandeep, who passed away just over a year ago, young guy, lots of ambition, lots of energy, honestly the nicest guy in the world. Him and I, we'd get together, and our wives would be like, okay, so you guys done opening your business yet? Because we would have these crazy ideas, and we would think of the craziest things that would be amazing to do.
Right.
Why didn't we do them? Probably some fear in the back of our mind that thought, it won't happen. It won't be successful.
Right.
We can't make it work. But we didn't even give it a try because we let that fear, prevent us. There's a song that I really love. It's by the Tea Party. And in the song, there's lyrics that we live in a world where the fear of illusion is real. And it's all really an illusion, that fear. It's something that, and one of the biggest things is, if you've got something you're afraid of, this is what's really, really helped me out overcoming these fears, is that write it down and write about that fear. And as you write about that fear, it's going to allow you to really realize how much it's controlling you. And once you know how it's affecting you, that's when you can start battling that challenge and battling that fear and overcoming it.
Yeah, absolutely. And our mind plays tricks on us a lot. It's our inner roommate. And if we don't control our mind, and a lot of people are like, well, how can I control my mind? I've been thinking the same thing over and over again. But, this person is probably not practicing. Like, I just worked out my body, right? I did, biceps back, jump rope. But people can work out their mind, and through meditation, through journaling, through still meditation, just starting to control their subconscious, you can start getting perspective. And it doesn't take overnight. You're not going to be able to no fear. Remember those t-shirts years ago?
Yeah, no fear.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid, actually, because fear is good. Fear, bad fear is an illusion. 95%, I would even say 99.9% of what we worry about never comes true. Okay, so that's kind of what I've lived my life by. At least 95% of what we fear never comes true. But we still do it. You could say that as an affirmation 18,000 times, but if you don't really, meditate and start gaining control of your subconscious, you're always going to be like, who's out to get me? Who's going to screw me? Every time I get in a relationship, they're going to break up with me because everyone breaks up with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not, muscular, whatever it is. It's like we keep talking to ourselves this way. So what you're saying is good. It's like writing it down. It gains perspective. And then realizing how silly sometimes our fears are. Right. So for me and you, let's talk, here about InsideOut Institute. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like sometimes the fear creeps in for me too, with a massive vision, knowing that what we're about to do is going to be epic, historic. I mean, that's a lot of pressure on us. And sometimes I'll get this little voice in my head saying, are you really ready for this? Are you really qualified? And I always pause when I hear this little voice, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, am I qualified to do this? So it's just that constant, skill set of, that routine of you versus your routine, waking up, meditating, middle of the day also, working out my body, reading, hanging out with people like you. So, what when you have a big vision, and we're in the middle of what we're in, and a lot of people are fearing right now their jobs, and they're fearing, you even personally lost income because you don't get paid until it opens up again. Yeah. And you had employees and everything like that. What's your message to everyone that's watching this that is in fear, that they can immediately maybe gain a different perspective, redefine that battle?
Yeah. So here's, take off the blinders is the first thing I'd say, is just open up a little bit, open that vision and start looking around you, because, you could knock on a door, but what you don't realize is maybe you're the door and someone's coming to you.
Yeah.
And this is, with the InsideOut Institute and everything we're creating with these amazing people, this amazing team, that's really what it's about, is that not only is the InsideOut Institute a door for people, but once they join us, they become the door. And
Mhm.
and we like what we're doing is unreal and it's unheard of, but we're giving the opportunity for people, and myself included, in the past 7 weeks, I've become 100% better, I would say. And that doesn't make me 100%, but I've become so much better in myself. And now the opportunity is that I have the opportunity to go out and make others better and get paid for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that. We're helping people, we're healing ourselves, we're helping ourselves, and then we're going out and we're healing others and helping others. And that, my friend,
Yeah.
it's an amazing opportunity, and I'm so grateful and thankful for all the people, to you and Emmanuel,
Yeah.
um, our amazing team, that this is coming together the way it is, and these opportunities they're available for everyone. There's no one that for no reason you can come to the InsideOut Institute, become an amazing person yourself, and then you will become the door to let other people become amazing people. It's amazing, and the opportunity is unreal.
Yeah, it says, "Knock and the door shall be open unto you." The knock and the door. So, I think a lot of people have a hard time asking first when they're down and out. Asking for help. And you kind of see like, if you kind of visualize like a guy on a mountain, kind of grabbing someone's hand who's trying to get up the mountain. It's easy to pull someone up when you have that leverage. But people, you'd be surprised, are very afraid. They want to be the lone shark or the lone wolf. And hey, I can take care of it myself. Same with me about a year ago. I'll just do it myself. But you don't realize, like, we have blind spots. We don't know certain things. And when you have a team and we have someone like you who is great with details and so gifted in your gifts, that really add so much value. And then you put in my gifts, and then our other staff's gifts, and then our practitioners' gifts, and then our leadership coaches' gifts in this big bowl, you're going to get an incredible amount of goodness and wholeness. And
Absolutely.
so it's so much better. And, Michael Jordan couldn't win on his own. He needed 4 other guys. Okay. So even great basketball players, even if you're a boxer, you need a great coach, even if it's a one-on-one sport. So what is it for you, kind of in closing, and we'll kind of talk about how people can follow you and stuff, but what is it for you that you're excited about? Like going from like even the shift in perspective to what you thought this year was going to be. And then you're like, boom, March happens. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? And then all of a sudden you say yes to the door being open. And like you said, now eventually you're going to be this a gigantic door for other people. How does that feel? And you never probably can predict that a couple months ago.
Absolutely. It's funny because when this year started, I've never been a person of New Year's resolutions. I'm going to create a bunch of New Year's resolutions, because honestly, I've never seen very many people be successful with them. I do set my goals, and I knew that in my practice, in my clinic, there were some things I wanted to achieve this year, and everything was going smooth, everything was great, and then all of a sudden, boom, halt! Like slammed on the emergency brake, going 100 miles an hour. Not fun, right? Because you crazy whiplash and just it was a dead stop. And that's where the real, like, the uncertainty, the worry, the panic, the fear really came in. And so, to go from that and be on track, and, at the clinic, I love doing what I do because I help people. I help them feel better. I get them out of pain. And then this door opens, and there's this opportunity for me to feel better myself and heal myself in a different way. It was so exciting. And then to turn that door around and say, hey, everyone, we're here, we're getting better, we're becoming so much better in so many different levels. Let's get together and go out to the world and make hundreds and thousands of people better as well, because we've learned how to do it now, and we've got a system, and we've got all these amazing people. It's like, it's like we're a salad, right? Like, you're not just getting lettuce, you're going to throw in all the other fixins, and everyone is a little fixin. Everyone has their uniqueness. Everyone has their speciality, like you said. And we bring that all together. We've got this amazing power, this amazing movement, this amazing mission that is going to change the lives of thousands of people for the better.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And you look at like even politics, and you look at different types of beliefs that we have as a culture. I think that message that you just shared is the most powerful message. Is if we can come together and just utilize each other's giftedness, the whole world would change, and like overnight. But everyone, kind of has this fear, and I don't trust this person, a lot of emotional baggage, and well, because my dad did this to me, I don't trust any men, or because my boyfriend did this to me, I don't, whatever, or girlfriend, so we have all this kind of stuff in our head. But like you said, fear is illusion. So, everyone wants to change the world. Everyone wants to help people. I mean, I've literally interviewed thousands of people in my life. And I always ask, what's the most important thing in your life other than your family? Of course, everyone says family, which is understandable. But they're like, well, I just want to help people. I just want to help people. Every good person, 99% of people in this world are good people. 99%. Okay, there's always the 1% that are evil. But most people are good, kind-hearted people, and they do want to help people, but they just don't know how to, because they don't know how to help themselves. So if we can all heal ourselves from the inside out and be able to get that emotional baggage away from us, and then have a strategy, because I'm a strategist, to actually take action on our dreams and goals.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, like our whole planet would be healthier. Nature would be better. Global warming wouldn't be a thing. It'd be unbelievable. So we do have a massive vision, and it's because of people like you and what you offer, and your giftedness, and you saying yes, and you really coming together. We couldn't do it without you. Everyone's so grateful. I mean, I get texts all the time privately from like Tanisha and Myra and Emmanuel that just love you and just think you're brilliant and a genius. So, so we just really are so proud to have you as our CFO, and just really a part of our InsideOut Institute.
And likewise, if it wasn't for all of you and the rest of our mastermind team and the rest of our team in Inside Out, we wouldn't have achieved this, and we couldn't do this. And so, I'm just as grateful and thankful to every single one in our group, in our team. And there's people that just joined in the last few days. I'm so excited to meet them and find out more about them, and, work all together so we can help the lives of thousands of people.
Absolutely. I haven't even welcomed 2 more clients. I mean, it's just been like flowing so quickly. Yeah. So we haven't even launched phase 2 yet. I mean, when the world really knows, we have all these articles coming out about us. It's so exciting. Again, 2 months ago, me and you couldn't even imagine even having this conversation right now. I mean, if we watched this conversation 2 months ago, me and you would be like, what? Yeah. What are they talking about? Like phase 2, phase 3, InsideOut Institute. What is that all about? So it's amazing how quickly, once you have an idea and you act on it, and you start looking at people that can help you with that vision, it actually comes true. It really is incredible.
If there's like 3 things I can say to people that are watching, what you said is create yourself a system. This was the biggest change for me. It was one of the hardest, because I was a guy, and everyone that knows me knows that I'm the guy who's always answers my phone, always replies to a text straight away, because it was like my third arm. But I've gotten away from that a little bit, and I've realized how important I myself am. So in the mornings, that meditation first thing in the morning, prayer is so important. Whoever you pray to is so important. And then physical fitness is just so important. And like you said, you don't have to run a marathon, but those 3 things, if you can start your day off with those, and I know people say, oh, I already wake up so early. Trust me, when you start doing this, and after 10 days of doing this every day, you will be excited to wake up the next morning to do this. Honestly, just if those 3 things you can take away from this, that's where you should start.
Yeah, it's always hard in the beginning, but that's how you gain momentum, through specialized knowledge, and then you add new experiences in your life. It's gonna equal momentum, and then that's gonna give you clarity and newness in your life. And we all kind of fell in love before, and that when you first fall in love, it's like, oh my God, like life is so good, right? But then you actually get married, and then you're like, wait a minute, okay, I got to spend the rest of my life with this person. But it doesn't stop there, because that marriages fail when there's no more newness, when it's kind of like blah, 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 blah. But once you have more newness and you're doing more things and you're getting out of your comfort zone, that's when things are like, oh my gosh, this was actually fun. I enjoyed this interview, or I enjoyed this book, or I enjoyed working out in a different way than just running on a treadmill, So life is filled with possibilities. So I'm just so excited to have you. Where can people follow you? Obviously, here's your name on Facebook, but where can we follow you on Instagram?
Instagram, it's Balwinder_Marwaha on Instagram. And so I love posting some, beautiful affirmations once a week and all the pictures are always my own of places I've visited. I've been so grateful to visit so many wonderful places. Todd, I just want to touch on one last thing that you said, is that, you said that feeling when you first fall in love, everything feels great. And, you get those excitement, those butterflies.
Yep.
Fall in love with yourself all over again. And you will feel those butterflies every day.
And everyone around you will absolutely benefit from that. And it's not narcissistic. I think people get confused with narcissism. Having confidence in yourself and falling in love with yourself has nothing to do with being like too in love with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's a big difference. But, I think there's too many people out there that me and you have come in contact with, that coach, that don't even love 1% of themselves. They can't even look at the mirror, and they're so beautiful and they're so amazing. And that's why you have to be so kind to people. You don't know what they're going through. So no matter what, that sometimes is hard too. When someone is being mean to you, if hurting people hurt people. So maybe they don't love themselves, but if you do, then you can immediately have the self-awareness that, hey, I'm going to be extra kind to this person because you're kind to yourself. And it's a wonderful message. So with that, man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you a lot. And
I can't wait to meet you in person one day and give you a great hug. But
same here.
Post-COVID,
I know, right?
We'll definitely be meeting and connecting.
We're going to be working together for a long time, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
So excited for our wives to meet and our families to meet and our children as well. So you are the man. Thank you so much for all your love and passion. And thanks so much for being on today.
All right. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks.